Hi, my name is Estefania Salazar. I am going to read book Harry Potter. Chapter 1. The boy was lived. Mr. and Mrs. Durley. Of number 4, Private Debate, were proud to say that they very perfectly normal. Thank you very much. They were the last people you did expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious because the Jews did not hold, which soon no sense. Mr. Durley was the director of a female pageant groaning, which made a difference. He was a big, beefy man with hardly a neck. Although he did have a very longer mustache, Mrs. Durley was thin on bald and had nearly thrice the usuality amount of neck, which came in very usuality as she spent so much of her time screening over Garden Francis Spring on the neighbor. The Durley had a small, sun-catched Durley an interior opinion. There was no finer boat never. The Durley had everything they wanted, but they also had a secret, and their greatest fear was that some boy would discover it. They did not think they could bury it annoyed found out about the Potter. Mr. Potter was Mrs. Durley's sister, but they hadn't met for several years. In fact, Mrs. Durley pretended she did not have a sister because her sister and her good-for-nothing husband were as undetermined as it was possible to be. Their Dudleys stood there to think what the neighbor would say if Potter arrived in the street. They Dudley that the Potter had a small son too, but they had never even sent him. This boy was another good reason for keeping the Potter away. What did one Durley missing with a chilk link that? When Mr. and Mrs. Durley worked up on the adult Great Thursday or Story Star, there was nothing about the clothing except outside to suggest that strange and mysterious things would soon be happening all over the country. Mr. Durley hummed as he picked out his most boring tea forth and Mrs. Durley gossiped about and peeled as they reached a screaming Durley into his Charlie nonade on the noticed a large wad of fluid past the windows. At alpha past 8, Mr. Durley picked off his view of cause, prefect Mrs. Durley on the cheek and tried to kiss Durley goodbye, but Mrs. because Durley was now having a turn and throwing his cereal and water. Clicked. Clotted Mr. Durley as he left the house. He got into his car and backed out number 4 drive. I was in corner of the street as he noticed freezing out. Something peculiar and cat reading a map. For a second, Mr. Durley did not realize what he had sent. He jacked his head around to look again. There was a tabby cat string on the corner of Private Drive, but there was not a map in the sink. What clothes he had begin tickings of. It must have been a drinks of the links. Mr. Durling begins and started at card. It started broke, and Mr. Durling drove around the corner and up the room. He watched the cat in the mirror. It was not reading the things outside Private Drive, not looking at the sink cat clothing, not reading maps on sink. Mr. Durling got himself a little scared and put the cat out. His mind has drove toward to. He turned on nothing expressed a larger order of dreams. He was hoping to get to die, but on the edge of drunk, direct, very drinks of he means on something else. As he sat in the usuality morning traffic jam, he closed her noticed that there is meant to be a lot of strangely dressed people about people in clothes. Mr. Durley clothing were people who dressed in funny chocolate. The gratuitous you saw on you people, he super. This was some strip fashion. He drummed his finger off the string well and his eyes fell on a uneven dress. Pierre struck cheeks close by. They very whispered excitedly together. Mr. Douglas was enraged to set that a clothing of Timberry. You all had. We thought man had to be older than he was, and wearing an emergent great clothes. They nerve of him, but they in stock Mr. Durley that his was probably some silly string. 13 people were obviously connecting for something. Yes, that would be the traffic moved on and a few minutes later Mr. Durley arrived in the Gurney parking lot, his man back on it. Mr. Durley always sat with his back to the window in the office of the ninth floor. In the house not he means have found inherent to concern on drinks. That morning he did not see the whole shopping pass in boarded darling. Those people drunk in the street digs. They pointed and grinned open mouths as whole after all the spent over chat. Most in them had never seen on whole even at 19. Mr. Durling, however, had a perfectly normal free morning. He yet and 5 different people. He made several important telephone calls and still a big man. He was in a very good mood until lunch time when he turned his train. He left and walked across the room to buy himself a bun from the bakery. He did forgotten about the people in clothes until they passed a group on the next to the bucket. He ate the angry and passing. He did to the we, but they among the inusuality. This bunch very exceeded too, and he closed and single coyoting. It was on his way back past them, chuckling a large tongue in the back. That he cause effect proved that they very sad. They pottered that right and up what I read. Yes, They saw Harry. Mr. Durley spotted the red followed him. He looked back at the whispers as in wanted to say something to the boot to better it. He danced back across the road unwrapped in his office. Snapped at his secretary, no they disturb him, says his telephone, and has almost finished dialogues his home number when Chichanger hit me. He put the receipt back down and stored his Mushoke trinky note. He was being stupid. Potter was not shook and usually named. He was sure there were lots of people called Potter who have a son called Harry. Come to think of it, he was not ever sure his neighbor was called Harry. He never ever seen boy. It need Harvey or Harold. There was no point in worrying Mrs. Durling. She always goes to up any medium of system. He did not back her. In he net had a sister like that. But all the same, those people in clothes. He found it hard to concentrate the others that afternoon and wet. He had the bowling and 5 o'clock. He was strange so worried that in the walking street into sometimes just out the door. Sorry, he granted, as tightened on the mad string and almost fell. I was a fair second before Mr. Durley realized that the man was wearing a violet cloth. He did not seem at all hoped had begun almost knocked to ground. Of the contrary, his face split into a weird smile, and he said in a cracked voice that Mary Poservi started. Don't be sorry, my dear sis, for nothing close up to thy rejoice, for you crowned hope has gone at last. Every month like yesterday shall be celebrated his happy days. And the whole my husband Mr. Durley around the middle and walked off. Mr. Durley stood rooted to the spot. He has been husband by accomplished strength. He also thrown he have been catched among water. That's what he was related. He hurried to his car and set off for home, hoping he was imagining things. He had never hoped before because he did not approve of imaginations. Had he put in the tribute of number 4, the first strings he sighed, and it is not improved his mood. Was the take at his spot that morning and was not string out his giving while he was sure it was the same one. It has the same markings around it said. So, said Mr. Durling, loudly, the cat did not move. It just gave in a strange look. Was this normal cat behavior? Mr. Durley wondered, trying to pull himself together. He let himself into the house. He was still determined not to mention anything to Sheffield. Mr. Durley had had a night normally died. She told him over dinner all about Mrs. Next Door's problem. We heard Darling and how Darling had learned a new word once. Mr. Darling tried to action normally. When Darling had been put to bed, he went into the living room in the team to catch to the report on the evenings, and finally Bear watched every have report that notice on have been very usually today altered. Old normality hunts as night and already hardy. Everything in Darling there have been hundreds of singers of dress beer things in every direction. Since sunrise experts arrive unable to explain without have sundry charlotte their spring peter, their nerves car, a jobber himself, a grim monster mysterious and no over to Jim things which the water's going to be any mother show in all stony jeans. Will that say the waterman? I don't crumb about that, but it's not only the old that have been actuality adults today. Everything has far apart has come to the church set, and though they have been punished in the tells me that in such on Raya promised yesterday they be have a downpour of shooting the star prepared people have been celebrating before night early. It's not until next week, folks, but I can promise you with neat tunics. Mr. Durley sat frozen in his armchairs, shooting stars all over the amid, all feeling beguiling, mysterious people in clothes all over the place, and a whisper about the Potter. Mrs. Durley came into the living room carrying to good on tea. I was no good, he'd have to say something to her. He cleared his drowning nervous. Here, Peter, there you having her from your sister, later have you. Has he had spraying Mrs. Durley cooking shocker and angry. After all the normality presented, she did have a sister. No, she sighed, suffering with funny star on the next Mr. Durley numbers. All shooting star and Terry were a lot of funny looking people in the today. So snapped Mr. Durley. We are just turning maybe it's what some to do with you crumb her crab. Mrs. Durley spread her teeth pursed lips. Mr. Durley wondered whether he dared tell he held her the name Potter. He decided he did not dare. Instead, he sighed as casually as the call their song. He'd be about too late again, nor wouldn't he? I suppose so, sighed Mrs. Durley String. What is his name again? Howard is not it is Harry Nasty. Common name, if you ask me. Oh yes, sighed Mr. Durley, his hair hurried. Yes, I am Kitty. Again, he did not say another word on the subject as they went straight to bed. Willie Mr. Durley was into Burton's. Mr. Durley crept to the breadon's windows and pressed the door into front garden The cat was string her. I was string down private drive at rooms in very waited for something was he imagining things. Could as this have anything to do with Potters? If it did, if, if it go out that day, very related to a part of well he did not think he could bear it. They Durley got into bed. Mrs. Durley's feet are split kittens, but Mr. Durley's like a white turkey. It all over is him. His last conforming truths before his fellow was that even if the Potter were in bed, there was no reason for them to come near him and Mrs. Durley. The Potter knew very well what he had Petunia thought about her Terry King. He called to see how Petunia could get mixed up in anything that might be going on while on the turnover in cold after 2. How very wrong he was. Mr. Durley might have been dating into as wisely explained, but the cat on the wall usually was showing. Nothing of the spleen in was sitting as still as a statue. He is eyes fixed on blinkings on the far corner of private drive. It is things so much as Kiver went a car door small on the next string no went to old exploit. Overs in fact it was a neighbor before the cat moved at. A man appeared on the corner. The cat had been watching appear to stand there and silence you that have thrown he did just proper of he grown. The cat is still teaching of the ages normal. Nothing like his man has everything been seen of the prevent derive. He was talking and very young, be his silver of his hair, and before which be both long every 2 trucks in his belt. He was wearing long rubber, a purple cloak that strained the ground, and his helmet broken box. His blue eyes were lined, bearing and sparkling, behind her mouth sparkling, and his nose was very long and chocolate, and throws in had been broken at lasting trees. This man's name was Albus Duberford. Albus Duberford things not seen to relate that had just arriving in a string, throwing a very front. His name to his boat was unwelcome. He was busy romantics in the clothes looking for something, but he determined to realize he was being watched because he looked up Suder and the cat which was staring at him from the other he on the string. For some reason the scene of the cat seemed to amuse him. He chuckled and muttered, I should have the crumbs. He found what he was looking for in his inside pocket. It seemed to be silver gigant liger. He filtered it open hill up in the air and chickled in the nearest string lamp went of which a little pot. He chickled in again. The next lamp flickered into darkness. 12 times in the checks to the point outer until the only links left on the water strain were two tiny pictures in the distance which were the edges of the cat watching him. Even nothing looked of their windows now, even barely aged Mrs. Durley. They will be about to see a knitting task inside his school, and set of drum they strained toward number 4, where he sat down on the wall next to cat. He did not look at it, but after a moment he spoke to it. Francis Singlet, you heard professional McGonagall. He turned to smile at the table, but it had gone inside. He was smiling a right 70-looking woman who was wearing escape glasses exactly shape of the markings the cat had around its edges. She too was wearing a cloth and emery one. Her black hair was drawn into a thin bun. She looked distinctly rude. "How did you come it was me?" she asked. "My dear professional, I've never sent a cat to explain. You did be a string if you'd been sit on the big wall all day," said Professor McGonagall, as that when you could have been celebrating. I must have passed. I don't effect and participate on war here. Professor McGonagall Stanford angry. "Okay, yes, I be celebrating, all right," she said impatiently. "You did things they be a bit more careful, but no." Even the Magles had noticed something going on. It was a tail next. She jacket her head black and the dirty dark living room window. I hardly it. Flocks on old shows start with their not completely stuffed. They very bound to notice something, so things start down in cat. I'll be that was the Daulus Dangley. He never has much sense. You can't blame they. Sights dumb pledore gentils. We be have precious little to celebration forever and years. I grant that, says Professional McGonagall irritable, but that is not reason to lose or hear people are buying darling cereals out in the street, in the world, in the darling not event, dressed in mongle closet spring rumor. She drinks a shop, she dips glance and door, her has strung, hoping he was again to tell her something, but he did not, so they went walk. A female thinks it will be. It's on the very night you come will see to have this party. At last the Mangles found out about us had. I suppose he really has dumble for it. It certainly seems so, said Dumble. We have much to thankful for. Would you care for lemon drop? What? A lemon drop? The red kings of mungle strain I am rotten fond of. No, thanks you, said the professional McGonagall. Claudie has true, she did not think these were the moment for lemon drops. As I saw even you crown who has gone? My dear professor, surely a sensibility person like yourself can call him be his name. Has did you come who? No sense? For 11 years I have been training two personal people to call him be his name. Walter Moll, Professor McGonagall, Frinchet, but Dummerford, who was stick to lemon drop, seemed not to notice it. It had get so confused it we kept saying you crom who. I have never seen any reason to be fringed on Science Volunteer's name. I crom you have, said Professor McGonagall, sounding half exasperated, half admiring. But you read? Different. Every Unicross you aren't the only one. You crom ho, all right. Voldemort, what instance of you fatter me? Sighed Dumbledore, call me? Voldemort had pondered I will never have. Only because you are too well noble to use them. It is lucky it is drunk. I have not blushing so much since Madame Proflin told me lick my neck early. Professor McGonagall took a star look at Dumbledore and sighed. They all are nothing next to the room that are feeling around you crumbs what they are saying about we he is disappeared, about what finality stopped him. He said that Professor Gonagall had ready the point she was most unattuned to discourse the real reason she had been waited on a cult. Her while had died, for knitting as a cat nor as a woman had she flexed down before which soon a prancing star, as she did know. It was plain that whatever everyone was saying, she was not going to believe it until Dumbledore thought her it was true. Dumbledore, words, was choosing another lemon drops and did no answer what they are saying. She passed on. Is that last night Voldemort turned up the clothings? How? He went to find the Potter, the rumor in the task like, and John Potter are that they aren't there. Dumbledore bother his head professor McGonagall, Gasper, Lily and James. I cannot believe distinct woman to the baby of Albus. Dune blender, Ratchet and Prater he the shoulder. I crom. He said already. Professor McGonagall's voice trembled as the she was that I not had there are signed. He dared to kiss the Potter's sons, Harry, but they couldn't not. He could not kill that like boy. No, one clock we, Harwell, but they are signs that we he clothes not killed Harry Potter. Voldemort power shower Boker and that is where he is gone. Dumbledore nodded gloomed. It is not. It is true. Father Professor Magal Jat. After as he donned at the people, he skittered he clothed kid a little boy. It is just storms of all the things to strong him. But how, in the name of heavy did Harry survive? We can only lose, sighed Dumbledore. We might never crown Professors McGonagall, Puget, Langsing, Arranchet, and David at her ages beneath. Her spirited Dumbledore gave greatest string as she took some grounded watch from his pocket and examining it. It was very old watch. It had 20 half, but no numbers. Instead, its planets were moving around the edge. It must have made things to Dumbledore. True, because he put it back in his pocket and said, Hagrid, lad, I suppose in what I were to you I did be here. Be they why? Yes, said Professor McGonagall, and I don't not suppose you aren't going to tell me. Will you read? Help me up the place. I will come to bring Harry to his own uncle. They are the only family he was left nor. You do not mean. You cannot mean the people who live here. Cried professional McGonagall, jumping to her fell and point are number 4. 2 people who are less legal and they be go this song. I saw him teaching his mother all the while the string is streaming for a string. Harry Potter come I live here. It is the best place for him. Said Dumbledore firmly. His aunt and uncle will be able to explain everything to him when he holds others. I be better than a ladder. A ladder represents Professor McGonagall faintly. Sitting black dog on the tall. Really? Dumbledore, you think you can explain how this in a letter? There people will never understand him. He'll be called famous. A legal I will not be surprised if today was Crumbs and Harry Potter dying for tour. There will be books written about Harry. Every children in our world will crown his name. Exactly. Said the Dumbledore, looking very seriously over the tops in his round glasses. It will be enormous to tours any boy's heart, famous before he comes and tells famous for something he won't even remember. Can you see how much being of the bee growing up a wall from all time until he is ready to take it? Professor McGonagall opened her mother, changed her mean, stowed, and they said, yes, you are in a ring. Of course, but how if the body greeting her? Don't blur. She edges his clothes suddenly. Has thrown she thrown he means be hiding Harry under it. Hagrid's begging him. You take this visit to tours, having with something as important as this. I will choose agrees with my life, Saint Dumbledore. I am not side is not in the right place. Side professional McGonagall Grudy Glinty, but you can be no perfect to no carrot. He doesn't too. What was that? A long running sound has broken the silence around them. I grinned strangely. Lord has the looked up and dropped the string for something of heading. It strained to around the buttocks, looked up at chicks, and about motorcycle for fell out of the hair and landed on a room in the front of the tent. In the motorcycle was hooked. It was nothing to the man's strength as think he was almost two feet as tall as a normal man, and as late 5 times as wide. He looked simply too big to be allowed, and so will long target of bullying what higher and baking. He most of this phase. He was an assistant of the task and leader, and he felt in the latter's works very relaxed baby dog spins in his was muscular arms. He was holding a bugle on blanket. Hungry? Says Bluebird. Soundly really as a lass, and where did you get that motorcycle? Borrowed it. Professor Dundangle, sirs. Sirs, the game children are full on the motorcycle at the spoken yoke string black lengths in the sun. I living got he heard. No problem, were they? Not sir. Houses were almost destroyed, but I got him right before the muggles started storming around. He felt same as we was feeling over Bristol. Dumbledore and professional Ganagold bent forward over the wonder on the blackened inside the youth visit was a baby boy. Fast slid unger a foot on the black hair over the forever they clothed see. A curiosity Sarah could like about and letting. Is that very? Whispered professional McGonagall. Yes, sighed Dumbledore. He'll have that star forever clothed. Not you do some things about it, Dumbledore? Even if a cloud I will scram come in a rain, I have a mention about my laughing clip that is a perfect match on the longer undergrad. Well, Guy and Derek Grant, we did better get over which. To me for it talks Harry in the arms and turned Tomar to the early house. Clothes I say good baby to side a skate. Hagrid he best him grit. Sagri head over Harry and gave him what must have been a very strength. With Gary grit them surland hungry let on holiday like and a blonde dog. Ishat Professor McGollit, you heard what they muggled? Yes, sorry. Sobbed Harry taking out la larget, stocked hander and burying his face in it. But I can. It's stand it, lit and jams. The ads and poor little Harry and leather living was muggle? Yes, it is all very sad. But get a grip on yourself for Hagrid how well be found, Professor McGonagall whispered, patting Adrien gingerly on the arms, and the door blindly spent over the long garden wall and walked to front door. He laid her gently on the doorplate, took a letter over thick cloth, took it in inside the hairy blanket, and they came back to other two. For a full minute the three on the store and looked at the title blonde Hadrick stoned stock. Professor Macaulay brinded before and the drinking leak started usually something from the bored edges seemed to have gone well. Say Dumble for a finality. That's it, that. We be no business staying here. We might as well go in the celebration. Yeah, say the grind in the very muffled voice. I am big tanky. Serious he speaking back. He Nike professional McGonagall Professor Dumbledore, sir. Beeping his strange edges on the jacket, Sleven Harbin strung himself on the motorcycle and chickens. They ended into lights, which around me these robes in the are into the neck. I shall see you soon. I expressing Professor Managali. Said Dungle, nothing to her professional Don Magali we. Her nosy replied. Don Magali turned on the walking walk down to the street. On the corner he exploded on tux. Oh, the silver put others. He chickled it once and Shelby bags on the links sprang back to tails, string lamp to sun privated, the red, globed sunderland orange, and he cloud make on the table clad string around the corner at the other on the string. He called, you see, they blundered of blackets on the string on the number 4. Good look, Harry, her numbered, he turned on the hay, he wet string on the cloth he gone, abrased referred to the hair on privated with light selling until the uncle trees streak. The very last play you will spare strong things to. Thank you. Bye bye.